Attention passionate Seattle Seahawks fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC West and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Seattle Seahawks' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Seattle Seahawks fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Seattle SEAHAWKS fans. Let's get to the news, all right, folks. Let's dive into some serious Seahawks news that's been buzzing around the NFL circles lately. We're talking about a potential blockbuster trade that could reshape the division and send shockwaves through the league. Rumors are swirling that the Pittsburgh Steelers might be willing to part ways with one of their most dominant pass rushers, T.J. Watt, and that the Seahawks could be in the mix. Now, before you jump to conclusions, I want to emphasize that this isn't just some idle speculation. This is a serious possibility, and the timing couldn't be more perfect for Seattle, especially considering where we're heading in this season and the future. Let's start with the Steelers, a team that's been solid this year with a 6-5 record, but one that's facing some serious cap crunch issues, sitting around $25. $2 million over the cap. That's a big problem when you're trying to keep your core intact, especially with a pending extension for Justin Fields, which is expected to eat up a hefty chunk of their salary cap. Pittsburgh's defense has been formidable, especially with Watt, who's been a sack machine for years. But the cap pressure might force them to make some tough choices, and Watt could be one of the players they're willing to move on from if it means retooling their roster. What's really interesting about this potential trade is the value the Seahawks could offer in return. The buzz suggests that Seattle might be willing to give up a first-round pick in the 2026 draft for Watt. That's a bold move, but it makes sense for a team hungry for a game-changing pass rusher who can elevate the entire defense. And if you look at what Watt brings to the table, it's hard to ignore. The guy has been a defensive force for 9 seasons, with 106 career sacks, over 500 pressures, and a PFF grade averaging around 91. 5. His ability to generate pressure, force turnovers, and disrupt offenses is second to none. Last season, he set an NFL record with 19.5 sacks, and this season he's been just as dominant, with 18 sacks through 11 games, leading the league in pressures and boosting the Steelers' overall defensive efficiency by over 20%. Now, why would the Steelers consider giving up Watt? Well, besides the cap issues, they're also in a bit of a rebuild mode on the wide receiver front, trying to develop young talent and find consistency. Their focus seems to be shifting towards rebuilding their WR core, which is a strategic move, but also leaves them vulnerable in the pass rush if they lose Watt. And let's be honest, Watt's presence on the field is like a hurricane, relentless, unstoppable, and always a threat to wreck the quarterback's day. The Steelers know that losing Watt might hurt their defense in the short term, but if they can get a solid first-round pick, they're betting on building around that draft asset for the future. For Seattle, this potential acquisition is a game-changer. Imagine adding Watt to our already impressive front seven, alongside Mafe, who's been stepping up big time this season. The projected impact is huge. We're talking about an increase in total sacks from around 35 to potentially 60, giving us one of the most fearsome pass-rushing duos in the league. Watt's presence would elevate our pressure rates significantly, boosting EPA per pass, and making it much harder for opposing QBs to find their rhythm. Our defense, which is already holding opponents to just over 20 points per game, could see that number drop even further, maybe into the high teens or low 20s. The impact on our pass rush would be immediate and noticeable, not only in sacks, but also in forcing turnovers and big plays. Let's not forget the secondary, which has been solid but could benefit from the extra pressure up front. With Watt drawing double teams and creating mismatches, our defensive backs like Slay could get more one-on-one opportunities, increasing our chances of creating turnovers. Plus, adding Watt would send a clear message to the league. The Seahawks are serious about contending, and we're willing to make bold moves to build a championship-caliber team. It's about building a legacy, cementing our status as a dominant force for years to come. From an offensive standpoint, this move could also have ripple effects. With the defense getting more stops, Geno Smith and our offensive weapons will have more opportunities to put points on the board. And considering our current offensive stats, especially with Darnold improving and connecting on deep throws at a higher clip, the extra pressure we generate with Watt could lead to even more turnovers and scoring opportunities. The Seahawks are trending upwards, and this kind of move would push us into the upper echelon of NFL defenses. Now, let's look at some numbers to understand Watt's impact better. Across his 9-year career, Watt has averaged about 12 sacks per season with a career high of 19, 5 sacks last year. His pressures per game, PFF grades, and win rate are all elite, consistently ranking among the best in the league. In 2025, he's been a force again, with 18 sacks in 11 games, and his presence has boosted the Steelers' defensive efficiency dramatically. As far as matchup advantages go, Watt's ability to dominate against both the run and the pass is unparalleled, and his leadership on the field would be invaluable for the Seahawks' young core. But what about the risks? Sure, giving up a first-round pick is a big gamble, especially when draft assets are precious. There's also the question of how Watt's style fits into Seattle's defensive scheme. However, considering his track record, he's a player who can elevate any defense he's on. Plus, with our current defensive scheme, which emphasizes pressure and forcing turnovers, Watt's skill set would integrate seamlessly. Looking ahead, if this trade happens, the Seahawks' odds of contending for a Super Bowl would jump significantly. Our chances of reaching the NFC Championship would increase, and with Watt anchoring the pass rush, our defense could be the backbone of a deep playoff run. The NFL betting odds are already reflecting some of this optimism, with DraftKings listing our Super Bowl chances at around plus 800 and possibly improving to plus 500 if this move materializes. The X factor in the playoffs would be Watt's ability to produce game-changing plays in clutch moments, boosting our EPA per play and helping us convert third downs more effectively. And let's not forget, this kind of move would send a clear message to the rest of the league. The Seahawks are here to compete at the highest level, investing in the kind of talent that can push us over the top. It's about legacy, about building a dynasty that lasts for years to come. Watt's addition would make our defense a nightmare for offenses, and that's exactly what we need to contend with the best in the league, especially in the NFC, which is increasingly competitive this season. In conclusion, this hypothetical trade isn't just a fantasy, it's a strategic move that could elevate the Seahawks to new heights. With Watt on board, we're talking about a team that's not just trying to make the playoffs, but aiming for the Super Bowl. His impact would be felt from Game 1, transforming our defense into a relentless, pressure-dominating unit that strikes fear into every quarterback we face. The Seahawks have always been about resilience, passion, and making bold moves when it counts, and this potential acquisition embodies all of that. Imagine a defense that can consistently sack the quarterback, create turnovers, and keep our opponents guessing. That's the kind of team we're building, and Watt could be the crown jewel of this new era. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Seattle Seahawks news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. So Seahawks fans, what do you think? Is this the move that takes us all the way to the Super Bowl? Would you give up a first-round pick in 2026 for Watt? Do you believe he can be the missing piece to our championship puzzle? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion really matters, not just to us, but to the entire Seahawks family. We love hearing from you, and we're always excited to bring you the latest updates and insider info. Keep your eyes peeled, because if this trade happens, it's going to be a game changer. The Seahawks are on the rise, and with a little luck and a lot of determination, we're heading straight for glory. Stay tuned, stay loud, and as always, go Hawks.